Peter Eliades with you. This is Stock Market Cycles update for Friday, the week ending December 20th. We're going to do a few different things today because it's the end of the week. We'll look at some weekly projections, and we'll also look at a channel that is really fascinating. We're at a fascinating juncture within the channel because we're also within pretty important projections. What I did was I actually changed the offsets a little bit for the nominal 40-week projections. The original Hearst work used offsets of 35 to 40 calendar days for the 5-week offset nominal 10-week projection, 70 to 80 calendar days again for the 10-week offset for the nominal 20-week projection, and 140 to 160 trading days, again, calendar days. So that would be 20 to actually 22.86 week offset. And that's what we're basing these projections on now. They're virtually the same as they were before. They've changed a little bit, but we're going to show you the little changes in the Dow and the S&P. And a lot of people have asked for the QQQs. We're going to show you that one too. How's that for a bonus? So let's start right away. There's not too much to look at today, and it's pretty exciting what we're looking at. Okay, this is the S&P, and this slightly different projection window, 31.54.13 to 33.33.59. So the halfway point to that would be right around 32.42 or so. So we're almost halfway into the projection window. We have certainly satisfied on at least a minimal to halfway of the projection range basis for the S&P 500. And that's where we stand at the end of this week. We're going to show you another S&P chart that's pretty exciting. But first, let's look at the Dow Industrials. The Dow Industrials are the one holdout here that is saying that, you have further to go. And you can't always trust that outlook, but you've got to put credibility to it. So it's not anything we can ignore. Here's the Dow chart. Here's the offset. Somewhat new offset, but it's 29,094 to 30,735 rounded off. So the Dow's telling us that on a minimal basis, you still have a way to go. 29,000, we're now at 28,455. So another 500 points, you're talking a couple of percent. Not a lot, but a little bit more. But that's the only one that's saying we need to go even higher to satisfy minimal projections. Here's the QQQs that so many people have been asking for in the remarks underneath the videos. This is the projection on the QQQs. Notice the bottom in December of last year, the crossing of the offset line. And the QQQs are near the top of their range. 201.19 rounded off and 214.02 rounded off. Right near the top of that range with a high this week of 212.52. So those are the three nominal 40-week projections with slightly different parameters, recalling back to the old original Hearst offsets. The only other thing I'm going to show you today is this. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on it because it's a pretty exciting chart. And it looks like this, if I can find it for you. Here it is right here. Lo and behold, look at this chart. We went over what I called Technical Analysis 101 several days ago about, these things are fine visually. You just look at it and you can see where you are. But I like to get exacting numbers. I salivate when I see exacting numbers. It gives me something to look at on a real hard mathematical basis. So I'm just going to take a minute or two here to show you how we derive these numbers. You can see how you derive it from a chart. You simply take, this is the S&P weekly, and this goes back to the February 12th of 2016 low, and you join that to the low December of 18, the two most important lows of the past 3 or 4 years. You join those two lows. You need to determine what the slope of that line is. How many points a week does it move? Well, we've got it here for you. This is 2346.58 is that low. This low is 536.48. That's a difference between the two lows of 536.48 points. Next, you need to know how many weeks between these two lows. Well, it ends up 150 weeks between the two lows. This is, again, the February low of 2016, the December low of 2018. And that means that the slope of this line is 3.5765 points per week. Now, all you have to do is make sure you get your upper line, your upper parallel line, exactly on the high here, 2872.87. When you're doing this again, if you're doing it visually without mathematics, you don't need to do that. You need to get this exacting. If you're doing it mathematically, you don't need to know that this line is exactly on the thing. But I'm going to show you here. If I click on this line, see where it says begin price there? 2872.87. I like to get them exactly pinpoint to the hundredth of a point where they belong. And so that's where that one is. The only other thing you need to know is that between that high, which occurred in the week ending January 26th of 18, and the current week, which is the week ending December 20th of 2019, there are 99 weeks. So what do? Well, if there are 99 weeks and the slope of the line is 3.5765 points per week, then you obviously multiply that 99 times 3.5765. That gives you 354.08 points. Then you add the 354.08 to this high, 2872.87, and it gives you where the line is exactly to a hundredth of a point this week. And it happens to be 32.26.95. Now, we gave you next week, too. For next week, all you do is add the slope of the line for next week, 3.5765. So next week is the 32.26.95, plus one more week, 3.5765, is 32.30.52. Would you like to know what the high was this week? 32.25.65. Within 1.3 points of this line. You can see that visually. You don't know how many points it is, and that's why I do the math, because now we know how many points it is. But next week, it's going to be 32.30. So if this channel is going to contain prices, you should not see the S&P up next week more than the difference between 32.30.52 and the close today, 32.21.22. So you're only talking about 9 or 10 more points. If we're up 15, 20 points next week, then you forget about this channel. It no longer has any significance. So that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to let you know that we are in a position. Most of these projections have been met. We're in a position where we're looking for the possibility of a market top, perhaps of importance. The only thing that belies that is the Dow. But the majority of the indexes say that we're well into projection territory. That's where we stand. Friday, December 20th, 2019. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. If you haven't subscribed yet, click on the banner, bottom right. Once you click on the banner, click on the bell. Every update that we do, you will be notified immediately. Thanks a lot for watching.